Good evening, everybody. We are just, again, waiting on confirming quorum. So if you have not already, if you could please just rename yourself to include your full name and then your service unit and or troop number. That way we can confirm all of our delegates and we'll be able to get started pretty quickly. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, Bobby.
Good evening, everybody. We'll get started in just a moment. We're almost at quorum. We're just confirming a few additional users that are in, or members that are in the waiting room. If you are in the waiting room and you haven't been admitted, if you could please change your name to your actual name and then your service unit and troop number so that we can admit you and confirm quorum, we would appreciate it. Thank you. And we'll be getting started in just a moment. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for your patience as we've been letting everyone into the waiting room or from the waiting room. I want to welcome you all to our 2022 annual business meeting. If I haven't had a chance to meet you in person, I'm Dr. Russel Statham, and it's truly my pleasure and honor to serve as CEO of Girl Scouts of Central California South. Before we get started, I'd like to make just a few introductions. First, I'd like to introduce our board of directors for the 2021-22 year. Our board chair, Dr. Gail Racebrew, who will be facilitating this evening's annual meeting. Our first vice chair, the Honorable Virna Santos. Our second vice chair, Michael Alexander. Our board treasurer, Michael Osana. And then our board secretary, Heather Walker-Jans, who is also the chair of our board development committee, and you'll be hearing from throughout the night this evening. I'd like to also introduce our at-large board members for the 2021-22 board year. At-large member Andrea Warrock, Dr. Kamal Desai, Fabiola Ramirez, Heather Brown, Joanne Bazarian, Kimberly Slavon, Kimberly Tapscott Munson, and Robert Frausto. I'd also like to introduce our girl representatives to the board. Our first girl representative is Miranda D. And then our second girl representative is Destiny S. Thank you so much to all of our board members for the dedication, the time, and the passion that you've given us over the past year. I'd now like to ask that everyone please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and the singing of our national anthem by Alexandra D. from Troop 2864. And of course, we invite any current or past military to salute in the appropriate manner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
We're just working through a technical difficulty here. We'll have this right back up. Give us just a moment.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Alexandra, and sorry for that technical difficulty. We're still figuring out all of the intricacies of our Zoom platforms. I'd now like to ask Miranda D., one of our girl representatives to the board, to lead us through our Girl Scout promise and law.
Hi, is everyone able to hear me?
Yes,
All right.
you're coming in loud and
Yes.
clear. Perfect.
All right. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Now please join me in the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Thank you, ladies. Our promise and law is truly one of our most important traditions, and it roots us in all that we do. So I appreciate you leading us in that this evening. Before we get started with the business of the meeting, we'd like to cover some important housekeeping items. To facilitate an open and transparent dialogue and debate amongst council delegates and an effective annual business meeting, the board has adopted the following virtual meeting procedures in accordance with Section 7.3 of the council bylaws to serve as the rules of order for today's meeting. All motions and resolutions should be made in written form and submitted to the chair via the Zoom meeting platform's written communications function, or if you're participating by phone, via our email at governance@girlscoutsccs.org. Council delegates will remain on mute while speakers provide information and make presentations on each of the agenda items. Once the presentation concludes for the agenda item, the chair will open it up for a motion, a second, and open discussion and debate. Council delegates that wish to speak or provide comments via the Zoom meeting platform's written communication function should state their name, their service unit number, and their troop number and their position. The remarks should be addressed to the chair and relate to the agenda item that we're talking about. Each council delegate speaking on an agenda item will have at least 2 minutes to speak. To ensure that all council delegates have an opportunity to speak, no one council delegate may speak twice until everyone that wishes to speak has had an opportunity to do so. Questions regarding any items on the agenda to be considered at the meeting can be asked by the council delegates once the speaker has concluded the presentation. Proposals considered at the meeting are limited to those items specifically included in the notice of the meeting and agenda in accordance with the council bylaws. Such proposals will be voted upon as presented. Motions on all items on the agenda will be made by a representative of the board or the committee that's making the recommendation. Each motion will be allotted a minimum of 5 minutes for discussion and debate, subject to extension by the chair. Debates can also be extended by a 2/3 vote or closed in less than 5 minutes by a motion to call the question, which is made by a council delegate. A motion to call the question takes precedence over any other motion on the floor and also requires a 2/3 vote. If the motion is passed, an immediate vote on the question at hand is called. To second a motion or to ask questions or debate, council delegates can type into the Zoom meeting platform's written communications function, or they can request to speak by utilizing the reactions function in Zoom and clicking on the hand raise icon. Staff will confirm that the individual is a council delegate and advise the chair of their interest in speaking, who will then have their line unmuted at the appropriate time. There will be a number of times this evening where we'll call for a vote by council delegates. These items are specifically reflected in the notice of the meeting and agenda as action items in bold. Voting members are defined under the council bylaws as service unit delegates, members of the council's board of directors, and members of the council's board development committee. When the chair calls for a vote, voting may take place either using the poll function in Zoom or by the chair calling for voting members to be unmuted with a voice by acclamation vote at the discretion of the chair. For voting using the Zoom's poll function, council delegates that are participating only by phone may submit their vote via email to governance@girlscoutsccs.org. Council delegates that participate only by phone can second a motion or debate or discuss a motion by letting us know that they'd like to speak by emailing governance@girlscoutsccs.org, and staff again will confirm that the individual is a delegate and advise the chair of their interest in speaking, who will have their line unmuted at the appropriate time. In the event that you have any challenges or need any technical assistance during tonight's meeting, please give us a text at 559-970-4543 or send us an email at governance@girlscoutsccs.org. You can also type into the chat box. Now that we've covered the introductions and the procedures for our meeting, I'd like to briefly cover today's agenda. We will be covering a variety of business topics today, a summary of which is on your screen in the form of an agenda. We'll begin today's meeting with the confirmation and certification of our quorum, and our board chair will then call the annual business meeting to order, followed by the review and approval of the 2022 annual business meeting agenda and the 2021 annual business meeting minutes. We'll then have the State of the Council presentation, followed by the Treasurer's report. Before we get into the action items for the meeting, we will thank and recognize two of our outgoing board members. We'll also then hear presentations on the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee, as recommended by the Board Development Committee, followed by a formal vote to affirm the slates. Afterwards, we will then hear a presentation on the slate of National Council delegates as recommended by the Board Development Committee, followed by a formal vote to affirm that slate as well. We'll then review the upcoming quarterly council delegate roundtable schedule and have an opportunity for open delegate communications, followed by closing remarks and the formal adjournment of the meeting. I'd now like to turn it over to the chair of our board of directors, Dr. Gail Raceborough, to officially start our business meeting.
Thank you, Russell. It's now time to start the business portion of our meeting. Prior to starting the business portion of our meeting, I would like to introduce our council's attorney, Amanda Miller from Sagasser, Watkins & Wieland, PC, who will be serving as parliamentarian today. Thank you, Amanda, for joining us this year and for assisting us throughout the year. It's now time to confirm that we have established quorum as required under our council's bylaws. Heather Walker-Jans, our board secretary, would you please confirm that we have a quorum?
Madam Chair, in accordance with the bylaws of the corporation, I am pleased to certify to you that we have over 1/3 of the voting council delegates present, which constitutes a quorum. You may proceed with the business meeting.
Thank you, Heather. The meeting is officially called to order. Our first item of business is the review and approval of the 2022 agenda. The agenda has been provided to you as attachment 1 in the annual business meeting packet in accordance with the notice of meetings required under our council bylaws. May I now have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
I have received a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Already done.
Hearing no discussion, we'll take our first vote on the approval of the agenda. You'll see on your screen a Zoom poll. Please cast your vote using the Zoom poll, and then we'll wait 30 seconds for the tabulation of the vote.
So we just received a note that unfortunately Gail's internet just went out. So she is going to be logging back on. In the interim, Heather, would you mind continuing as the presiding officer?
Absolutely. Okay. So we saw the poll on our screen. As you can see, the motion has passed and the agenda is adopted. Now we must review and approve the minutes from our last board meeting. The minutes are on attachment 5 in your packet, and they are also on the screen. May I have a motion to accept the 2021 annual business meeting minutes?
I motion to accept the 2021 annual business meeting minutes.
A motion has been received from Joanne Bazarian.
Second.
Heather Brown.
Thank you. I have a second from Heather Brown. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will take our second vote on the approval of the meeting minutes. You will see a Zoom poll on your screen. Please go ahead and cast your vote using the poll, and we'll wait 30 seconds for the tabulation of the votes. Thank you. The results of the votes are on your screen. As you can see, the motion has passed and the minutes are adopted. It is now time for the State of the Council report from our CEO and leadership team, beginning with Russell.
Thank you, Heather, and appreciate you jumping in with Gail's internet going out. It's great to be here with you all today. In the years past, you've heard me present the State of the Council report, reflecting on the past year and the year ahead. This year, we've changed the format a little bit to offer an opportunity for all of our council delegates to hear from the individual leadership team members of each of our council departments. Each leadership team member will introduce themselves and review several items that they're proud of from their department over the past year, as well as several items that they're excited about in the coming year ahead. The first leadership team member that we will be presenting in the State of the Council report is Shannon Pamiza. Shannon is the manager of recruitment and community partnerships, and she'll be sharing updates on our new girl recruitment and troop formation initiatives. Shannon, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Russell, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I am happy to report to you all today on our recruitment season for the 2021-2022 membership year. We have had some great successes this recruitment season. Beginning in the spring, the majority of the school districts have been open to allowing us to utilize their facilities for recruitments, lunch talks, troop meetings, and special events. Our team of recruiters have successfully registered and welcomed 2,323 brand new Girl Scout members into our council and 974 new adult members. We have been able to recruit new members in all 5 of our counties within our council footprint. The recruitment team has also hosted over 306 recruitment events year to date. These events consisted of partnering with local libraries, faith-based partners, vendor events, traditional school recruitments, and teaming up with our service units to hold service unit recruitment events. Collaborating with community members is also one of the ways we created visibility throughout our council over the past year. We were very happy to build relationships and continue working with long-standing and new community partners, including self-help enterprises, Kern K9 activities, Fresno Head Start, Athleta, Baco Market, and a variety of faith-based organizations. I'm excited to share a new campaign that we are launching for our recruitment season for the 2022-2023 membership year. All fun, no filter, be a Girl Scout. As many of you likely know, no filter is the millennial and Gen Z way of saying that you can let your guard down and be yourself. This campaign shows, rather than tells, that we're relevant, that we understand the lives of girls today, and that they truly belong with us. We understand the no filter culture, and we want girls to be themselves, to let go of all the pressure that they face in life, and to know that they can really have a wonderful time with us exploring the world through Girl Scouts. I would now like to introduce Michelle Fox, who is the Director of Member Services for our council. Michelle leads our troop support and customer care teams and will be sharing updates on those departments.
Thank you, Shannon. It's been a busy year for our troop support and customer care teams. Our dedicated team has welcomed 50 new troops and provided mentorship, support services, and training for over 135 new troop leaders that either started new troops or joined existing troops across our council footprint. Our troop support specialists have provided specialized trainings designed to empower new troop leaders as they take on their new volunteer roles. Additionally, troop support specialists have implemented and hosted standardized meetings for all new troops to ensure that Girl Scouts get the full Girl Scout experience, beginning with the very first meeting. This year, we also implemented a brand new early bird program designed to incentivize each member's continued commitment to Girl Scouts year-round. Early bird members were issued a special card and lanyard that granted them access to bonuses, discounts, and incentives at council events, and so much more. Our early birds really enjoyed collecting commemorative charms at each of the early bird events and displaying them on their lanyard. And we all had so much fun with our early bird members throughout the year. We particularly enjoyed showering them with swag at Aggranation, introducing them to the love of boba tea at World Thinking Day, decorating and racing rubber ducks at the Ducky Derby, learning all about Japanese culture at the Cherry Blossom Tea, and most recently, excavating chocolate chips from a cookie at our Dino Dig workshop. Together, we were able to provide over 35 different early bird events and activities for our members council-wide. Our early bird fun and special activities are not stopping anytime soon. Our early bird renewal season ended on June 30th of 2022 for the 2022-23 membership year, and we are pleased to announce that we ended the season with a retention rate of 47.7%. This means that in the coming year, 3,773 early bird members will get to take advantage of the many opportunities accessible to them through the Early Bird All Access Pass program. In the upcoming year, we will strive to provide even more opportunities to early birds to get more from their membership. Keep an eye out for the special activities in the 2022-2023 year starting October 1st. As we head into the new Girl Scout year, our troop support team is excited to continue growing new and existing troops and enhancing the resources available to new troop leaders. We anticipate continued growth in our specialty and outreach troop models, such as those with homeless centers, women's groups, and Head Start. And most of all, we can't wait to introduce new members to the Girl Scout leadership experience. I would now like to introduce Bobby Camacho, Manager of Girl Experience, who will share updates and reflections from this unit of the council.
Thank you, Michelle. I have the pleasure of leading our Girl Experience team that provides central programming throughout the council. In the 2021-22 Girl Scout year, the Girl Experience team hosted quite a few large-scale events. We kicked off the year with a Back to Troop weekend of fun. In collaboration with Troop Support and Girl Experience departments, we hosted a large Hocus Pocus movie and activity night in Mid-Valley. The Sanderson sisters even made an appearance. There were 217 people in attendance. That weekend, we also joined our Girl Scout families at the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, in which 130 people attended, and the Calm Zoo in Bakersfield, in which 111 people attended. We celebrated Juliet Gordon-Lowe's birthday in a trunk-or-treat fashion in Fresno with around 100 people attending the event and 253 people attending in Bakersfield. In November, the team hosted a Harvest Day Camp during Thanksgiving break, which served 46 girls. Cookie U, or Cookie University, occurred in December. The girls learned the 5 key skills in the cookie program when 142 girls traveled to Kerman for the fun kickoff to the season. In February, the Girl Experience team hosted World Thinking Day in the Kern County area. 147 people attended this event in order to learn about countries and different cultures. For the 110th birthday of Girl Scouts, the girls ventured to Lake Isabella and Eastman Lake for a camporee experience. We had a total of 73 people that attended both camporees in celebration of Girl Scouts. For International Harry Potter Day, we hosted a Harry Potter movie event where the girls met in Hanford to watch the first movie, take photos, dress up in costumes, and receive a wizard-inspired themed swap. In the spring, the Thin Mint Run and Shortbread Shuffle made a comeback in the areas of Kern and Fresno. Fresno had 130 people attend, and Kern had 122 people that attended. We are excited about bringing this event back in the upcoming year and making it even better. To celebrate the month of May, we hosted a She and Me Tea in Mid-Valley with the theme Troop Beverly Hills. The girls completed movie-inspired activities. This year in Fresno, the Girl Experience team hosted a He and Me dance with tiaras and ties as the theme. The girls got to dance with a special he in their lives. The Girl Experience team has also been hard at work providing experiences and programs through grant funds. The Virginia and Alfred Harold Foundation has given our girls funds to use for the Girl Scout Tree Promise, Trailblazers Club, and Outdoor Skills. Because of the grant, the girls were able to plant over 20 species of trees. We were also able to purchase outdoor equipment such as tents, sleeping bags, and backpacking equipment for the Trailblazers Club. The older girls have also been going on higher adventures such as snowboarding, whitewater rafting, rock wall climbing, and axe throwing. The Ben and Gladys Arkelian Foundation has been the driver behind the One Page at a Time programming. The girls have been able to attend programs in Fresno, Tulare, and Kern counties that are beneficial for their health and well-being. This journaling workshop features various skills and techniques to cope with stress as well as thrive. Chevron has graciously given funds to help start robotics teams within our council footprint. There are 4 teams currently that we are starting and supported for this upcoming year. Another grant that was funded by Chevron is the upcoming STEM Day Camp in Kern County. All of the supplies for the STEM Day Camp are provided by Chevron. The Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District sponsored a field trip for our girls to Scout Island, in which they learned about decomposition and water quality. A program titled Side Girls was funded by PBS Kids. This included a 32-hour program in which the girls learned about citizen science. They also attended a field trip to the Sequoia National Forest. This is an ongoing program in which we will be starting again in October. This past year during a pandemic, the girls had to truly think outside the box as far as community service and their highest awards. It takes ingenuity and dedication to follow through during a difficult time for our country and frankly the world. We had 27 girls complete bronze awards and 13 girls complete silver awards. There are 9 girls that completed gold awards despite many setbacks. These girls triumphed and we are so proud of them. You will hear more about their projects at the end of the State of the Council presentation. Our startup troop is a council-run troop for girls that have not been placed in traditional troops. These girls still get to participate in Girl Scout programming. They earn badges every month and participate in product seasons. Next year, the plan is to prepare more activities and field trips using the funds that were earned throughout product season. On average, there are about 40 girls that participate each month. Camp season this summer was at Camp Elowen. The Girl Experience team has had a blast with the girls. Hogwarts Camp was a weekend camp for all age levels. There were 49 girls that attended. Safari Camp was a weekend camp in which 47 brownies and girls and juniors attended. And Marvel Camp is happening next week. I'm a little too excited for it. We have 31 older girls registered for the camp. They will be horseback riding, canoeing, and practicing archery. It's going to be so much fun. Over the 2021-22 Girl Scout year, we have served a total of 2,928 girls and their families so far in Central Council programming. One goal for the Girl Experience Department is to serve over 4,000 girls, families, and community members for the 2022-2023 year. To achieve that goal, we are implementing new and inclusive programming, a GSUSA Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion PAC series, programs with new and existing community partners in our council footprint, and more grant-funded program opportunities, as well as revamping and refreshing some of our large-scale events. We have also been listening to and following through with feedback from our girls on camps and other programs. I will now turn it over to Paula Hamlin, who will share updates pertaining to our Volunteer Services Department.
Thank you, Bobby. We have been so excited about our volunteers and everything that took place this past year. This past May, we were able to celebrate our volunteers with a luau-themed adult recognition ceremony. We also introduced our first annual volunteer retreat up at Camp Elowin. A wonderful time was had by everyone where our volunteers could get some relaxation time and enjoy the outdoors. We are also happy to announce that we brought back graduation boxes for all of our 64 graduating ambassadors, and we offered a beautiful bridging ceremony for those bridging to alum Girl Scouts in Visalia. We are also happy to announce our training numbers for this past year. In total, we have trained 828 volunteers. From building confidence in axe throwing to conflict management training, our volunteers are always willing to put time into learning new skills to serve the girls. This year, we want to make sure all volunteers are recognized. So make sure you visit our volunteer page come October 1st to nominate your fellow volunteers for our GSCCS Adult Leadership Awards. We also offer numeral guard and years of service pins for those who have been volunteering for 5 or more years. In addition, we celebrate and honor one volunteer as our Volunteer of the Month each month, and we ask that you all consider submitting nominations for this important recognition. Since the passage of AB 506 this past January, we have had many volunteers become live scanned as a result of the new requirements. We want to give a gentle reminder to all volunteers that hold a council-appointed volunteer role, or those volunteers that would like to participate in events with girls will need to be live scanned by October 1st. We look forward to making sure our girls are in safe hands while they are at troop meetings, at an event, or on a troop trip. We thank you for understanding of these requirements. We are also looking forward to boosting our training department, not only by how many trainings we offer, but also by the number of trainers we have to teach. Making sure we have plenty of trainers on hand to teach our troop leaders everything from basic camping skills to new leader training is our goal our council hopes to achieve this coming year. We are also going to be adding new training such as hiking, backpacking, STEM, strategy and team building, whitewater rafting, and a paint night. If you're interested in joining our team of council trainers, please reach out to Bobby Camacho at bcamacho@girlscoutsccs.org. I would now like to hand it over to Russell to provide updates on our Resource Development Department. This department is led by Ashley Voorhees, our Vice President of Fundraising and Communication. Ashley is away from the office right now at camp with her children, so Russell will be providing that department's update.
Thank you, Paula, for the introduction. Our Resource Development Department has been busy at work this past year, working on increasing the revenues that we have to support all of our Girl Scouts and their programs. Last August, we were very excited to secure a $30,000 donation from the wonderful company to start a new robust troop in Delano. Our recruitment staff has been busy registering 48 new girls and 4 troop leaders for this great new program. And we can't wait to see how this troop will continue to grow and be of great impact to the community in Delano. We were also able to secure a very sizable gift, $100,000 from Jerry Lyles, a wonderful philanthropist and benefactor in the Fresno area, who has provided seed money to create our new mobile STEM center. We're currently looking for a vehicle to purchase so that we can get that exciting project off the ground. More details will be coming within the next few months. Our cookie donor booth buyout program continues to grow, seeing a 6% increase in total donations to support troops over the prior year. I want to thank our Resource Development Department and all of the troops who participated in our cookie donor booth buyout program for helping make this growth possible. And lastly, we received a $15,000 grant from Chevron, as Bobby mentioned, to host a 3-day STEM camp in our Bakersfield area. And this camp is really derived from a Bronze Award project that was led by Troop 3046. At the camp, girls will learn about the fundamentals of STEM. They'll learn how they use STEM in their everyday lives. They'll explore careers in STEM and have the opportunity to engage with leaders in the STEM industry. Our hope is that each girl walks away enthusiastic about the opportunities that are available in STEM, and just maybe she'll be interested in pursuing a career in an industry that we all know needs more female and women empowered leaders. Now, as we approach our next fiscal year, we're excited about a unique opportunity that we see as the preeminent leadership organization for girls right here in our communities. And so we're launching a program called GROW, which stands for Girls Ready for Optimal Wellness, which will be a conference that will be hosted by Girl Scouts this fall in partnership with our schools and other community organizations to address the growing topic of wellness in girls. Girls from throughout our communities will be invited to attend this one-day workshop designed to give them the tools and resources to achieve optimal physical, mental, and emotional wellness. We know the positive impact that Girl Scouting has on girls, and by giving more girls a taste of our programming, we hope that each girl who attends will walk away knowing her worth in this world and that she is capable of doing big things. Our Resource Development Department is also working on a patch program in collaboration with our Girl Experience Department to further our Girl Scouts entrepreneurship skills by encouraging girls to participate more broadly in our Cookie Donor Booth Buyout program, where girls will learn skills to be able to ask companies and other organizations and individuals in their community to support their troops cookie sales through the Cookie Donor Booth Buyout program. The details of this patch program will be shared at Cookie University, so we hope to see your Girl Scout there. And we're also continuing to expand our revenue streams beyond our cookie sales by identifying different funding opportunities, including grants, corporate gifts, planned giving, special events, and more. Because we know that support throughout our 5-county footprint is ultimately vital to continuing our mission of building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. If you know of any individuals or corporations that you feel we should partner with at Girl Scouts, we ask that you let us know by reaching out to Ashley Voorhees so that we can explore that opportunity together. Ashley can be reached via email at avoorhees@girlscoutsccs.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our Council's Chief Operating Officer, Jenny Guadagno, who will be sharing some updates on our product programs.
Thank you, Russell. Hello, everyone. As you know, the last couple of years have been very challenging for our product programs. We finished our 2020 cookie season with COVID beginning at the end. Our 2021 season had interruptions and many modifications due to COVID, including boothing limitations and new practices for safety. Then in 2022, we found ourselves dealing with the effects that COVID had on shipping, supply chain constraints, and getting ingredients for cookies, which resulted in delays in obtaining our cookies for our troops. But even with all that, I'm pleased to share that the number of girls selling year over year between 2021 and 2022 was up 14%. I'm also so thrilled to share that due to all of the hard work and dedication of our girls and volunteers, we exceeded our goal of 1 million packages sold through the 2022 cookie season by over 100,000 packages. This resulted in troops raising nearly $1.2 million in troop proceeds. All of these funds are used by troops to further their experience in Girl Scouts and take on activities such as camp, travel trips, and new programs. Looking ahead to this coming year, the theme for both fall product and our cookie season is Go Bright Ahead. Our fall product mascot for the coming year is the Hawaiian monk seal, and our cookie season mascot is the dolphin. We are excited to be introducing a variety of new items on our order card for the fall product season, as well as a new online exclusive options. With the overall increases in costs due to inflation, including the price that we are charged from our bakers, we have had to make the difficult decision to raise prices on our fall product and cookie programs. For cookies, this means that we will be raising the cost of cookies to $6 a package starting next year. This is in line with the increases that are being made in almost all councils in California and throughout the country. With this price increase, troops will now receive $1 per package of cookies sold, as well as new incentive bonuses, which we will be announcing in the fall for our council goal. There are also 2 changes coming from the 2022 cookie season from our national organization, GSUSA. They will be launching a new cookie that will be, for the first time ever, available only online as an exclusive direct ship option. In addition, our shortbread cookies name will be changing to Trifoils. This is in line with the national organization's desire to standardize names of cookies throughout the different bakers. We know that the coming year, we will be very likely to still have issues with supply chain constraints in shipping. And we plan to work with our troops on improved forecasting so that we can make more accurate orders at the beginning of the sale and have more inventory available for troops up front. I will now like to turn it over to Alana Gabrielson, our Chief Financial Officer, who will give us an update on our retail stores.
Thank you, Jenny. I am Alana Gabrielson, the CFO of the council, and one of the departments I oversee is retail. As everyone knows, the Goldmine stores are available for girls, caregivers, leaders, volunteers to access and purchase GSCCS and GSUSA merchandise for workshops, journeys, and lots of other items. I wanted to take a few moments to highlight several updates in the Goldmine stores. On July 11th, 2022, GSUSA increased their prices due to supply chain costs on some uniform items. However, GSCCS Goldmine stores had already purchased the restock for bridging and fall recruitment in June. So we will not increase prices on these items until August 31st, 2022, or until our current stock is sold out, whichever comes first. The Goldmine stores will be closed for inventory from August 8th through the 12th, so please plan accordingly. Additionally, GSUSA has retired some of the financial badges that were offered. You can see these items on your screen. The Goldmine store has some remaining in stock, but we will not be able to reorder further quantities of these retired badges from GSUSA. Please come by the store to purchase them if you're interested before we run out. The Goldmine stores are excited for some new adult clothing items that GSUSA's retail team have been designing. The new adult clothing line includes several t-shirts, hats, lanyards, earrings, and dresses. The Goldmine stores will have a few items in store, but are always willing to assist in ordering the exact size needed if they are not available in our store. One example of the new items includes the redesign of Man Enough to be a Girl Scout t-shirts and hats. We also have new camp sweatshirts and shirts that are GSCCS branded and a variety of other items. I will now turn it over to Russell to finish our State of the Council presentation.
Thank you, Alana. Our Girl Scouts continue to connect, discover, and take action on issues in their communities that are important to them on their way to earning their Gold Award. And let me tell you, we have some really incredible Gold Award projects. Our Gold Award requires girls to devote a significant amount of time to researching an issue that's meaningful to them, to building their team, and to ensuring their project is sustainable for long after they complete it. Our girls look for issues locally, but they strive to have an impact beyond their community. And they're supported by a great group of mentors on our Gold Award Advisory Committee, many of whom are on today's call. I wanted to take just a few moments to share a sampling of some of our girls' current projects from the past year. Girl Scout Angelica's project was to address the decline in songbird populations by improving songbird enclosures at Wild Care Eastern Sierra. Her project focused on building new counters and installing new cabinets in the enclosure, and her greatest sense of accomplishment was knowing that her project will have an impact on Wild Care Eastern Sierra's ability to care for more songbirds. Girl Scout Destiny wanted to make a welcoming and comfortable place for people struggling with addiction at Teen Challenge and Chapter. She was able to furnish 8 sleeping areas with bed frames, mattresses, and linens, and also furnished a variety of different school supplies so that guests could feel welcome. Girl Scout Chloe's project was helping one of her favorite camps, Camp Elowen, build a ropes course for team building. And she had to go through many obstacles to be able to reach her goal. But after careful planning and research, On different obstacle courses to create, she was able to build a low ropes course, which has now become part of the essential things to do at Camp Elwyn. Girl Scout Madison's project was to focus on helping children become more familiar with the process of growing vegetables. She built a small garden planter at Ridgeview Community Church that gives children the opportunity to plant vegetables and learn to grow them with the help of church teaching staff. Girl Scout Madison's project was called Tigers Stick Together. And in this project, she identified that teenagers and children who live in poverty often lack the essentials that they need for healthy living. And as well as success in school. And so she created a care closet at James Monroe Middle School to help give basic supplies to those at the school that were in need. She also was able to secure donations to continue to support her program long after it finishes. Girl Scout Mei Lin chose to educate her community on human trafficking. She organized an informational campaign for her high school and community, and was also able to create sustainable posters that are now permanent fixtures at her high school, and she also created a website that gives peers and the public a wealth of information and resources. Maylin is also the recipient of a National Gold Award Girl Scout scholarship from GSUSA. Girl Scout Miley's project emphasized how impactful a positive work environment can be in affecting individuals. She completed a room refresh at the Assistance League thrift store that came with a new process of sorting and putting items out to sell, which has made a big impact on the work productivity of the organization. Girl Scout Nicole started volunteering with Medical Ministries Internationally, an organization that helps to collect unused medical supplies and equipment within the Clovis area and distributes them to medical clinics. She created a volunteer talent database that helps to better utilize volunteers to impact the work of MMI more effectively. And Girl Scout Olivia's project was putting together STEM clinics in which she created 6 different classes with different experiments and wrote an educational program for all of the classes so that students at Gateway Elementary could continue to experience STEM programming. Our girls are truly showing the community that they are making the world a better place. And we look forward to what our future Gold Award recipients will be doing to change their communities for the better. Now, I'm also pleased to share and really excited that we awarded $17,333 in individual scholarships to 6 Gold Award Girl Scout alum from our council. Our scholarship endowments support these annual scholarship awards, and it wouldn't be possible without the wonderful donors and benefactors that have supported our council. Congratulations to Callie M., Haley A., Kelly O., Chloe L., Madison J., and Taylor G. for your scholarship awards from our council. I know I speak for all of us when I say that we are incredibly proud of all of these young ladies and the many contributions that they are making in our society. Now, I love to share the impact of our Gold Award Girl Scouts because I believe truly that they represent the very best of what our mission strives to achieve. As you can see these girls, as you see these girls throughout the coming year, I'd ask that you take a moment to congratulate them and to thank them for how they are making our world a better place. Now, as we wrap up our State of the Council presentation, I wanted to share just a few concluding remarks. First and foremost, I want to say again how thankful we are for all of you as our volunteers, and we believe very strongly in listening to your feedback and your voices. In this past year, we launched our new quarterly delegate roundtables to engage our council delegates on important topics throughout the year. And I know I've seen many of you on those calls, and I appreciate your active involvement in the governance of our council. I also encourage you to participate and be active in other committees and processes. We have a lot of opportunities for our volunteers to be involved, whether it be on our Gold Award Committee, in our board committees, or in different work groups that we have throughout the council. This past year, we also completed our strategic planning process, and we've begun to implement the first year of our strategic plan that's aligned around 5 key priorities: building a healthy organization, aligning brand experience and awareness with our brand promise, creating an impeccable volunteer experience, designing a distinctive full life cycle girl experience, and developing conduits for girl access. Now, we have a lot of exciting things that you've heard about that are upcoming for the next year as we return to a more normal Girl Scout experience post-pandemic. Specifically, I'm really excited about our team within the Girl Experience Unit developing and relaunching our program guide that will outline all programs that we have for the coming year. Updates and renovations at our council properties, expansion of our camp and outdoor programs through our wonderful partnership with Camp Elowen and other organizations, and new training and support for our volunteers. As I conclude, again, I want to say thank you, a special thank you to all of you as our volunteers for all that you do for our girls. Each of you are so important to our council, and if I haven't already, I'd love to connect with you and visit either your troop meeting or service unit meeting just to be able to say hi and check in. I'd also love to invite you to connect with me on social media. It's wonderful to be able to see and to hear all of the great things that our troops and service units are doing. So if you have a Facebook and I'm not already friends with you on Facebook, I'd love to connect with you. You can find me at facebook.com/GSCCSCEO. Gail, that concludes our State of the Council report. I'll now turn it over to Alana Gabrielson, our Council CFO, who will be providing the Treasurer's report on behalf of Michael Osana, our Board Treasurer. Unfortunately, Michael is out of the country today and was not able to participate in today's annual business meeting, but we're in good hands with Alana giving us that presentation. Alana, over to you.
Thank you for taking the time today to attend the Council's annual business meeting. It is my pleasure to report to you on the financial health of the Girl Scouts of Central California South on behalf of our Board Treasurer. The Girl Scouts of Central California South, September 30th, 2021 financial statements were audited by CPA firm Vasson, Hine and Company. The financials were issued with an unqualified opinion. An unqualified opinion means all disclosures are included in the financials or footnotes and are properly reported, that the financials and footnotes are compliant with the generally accepted accounting principles, which are standards issued by AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and the presentation standards of the Financial Accounting Standards Board, FASB. Staff and management cooperated fully with the auditors. The auditors did not find any material misstatements in the financials and footnotes, nor did they find any material weakness in internal controls. Now that was a lot of financial jargon. Basically, the auditor did not find any issues in how the financial numbers were recorded, presented in the financials, or in how staff and management accounting procedures were performed. I want to remind everyone that we post our full audit report and financial statements on our website. This slide shows the assets of the council in comparison between 2020 and 2021 fiscal year ends. Current assets, which are defined as cash and other assets that are expected to be converted to cash within 1 year, increased during these years. The increase was due primarily to the increase in cash. This was due to the receipt of the CARES Act funding through Payroll Protection Program and the Employment Retention Credit, and the reduction in the operating expenses due to management's fiscal prudence during the pandemic. Accounts receivables decreased slightly due to timely collection of receivables from individual parents and troops related to fall product and cookie programs. As most of you know, the council continues to implement the controls to ensure the collectability of these accounts receivables. Investments increased $323,749 due to the increased value of the investments held in the market. These are primarily in stocks and bonds. This includes our endowments as well as council's reserves. Total merchandise for sale reflected as inventory decreased as Goldmine stores reviewed their products and moved inventory that was not selling by either discounting prices or turning the items into prizes for Girl Experience to use in programs. Goldmine stores have brought in many new custom GSCCS branded items and have sought feedback through surveys and focus groups to identify which products to stock in their stores. The decrease in land, building, and equipment reflected as property and equipment was due to depreciation expense the council is allowed to use for the buildings and equipment. The end result to the assets for the year was an increase in assets of an amount of $951,088. This slide shows the liabilities of the council. Accounts payables increased modestly due to the accrual of invoices for payment at the end of the fiscal year. Accrued payroll and related liabilities decreased as employees' vacation balances decreased due to use. Custodial funds increased slightly due to funds collected during troop disbandment. Deferred revenue is composed of funds collected for the renewal of memberships, which include early bird memberships and extended year memberships for 21-22 membership year. The deferred revenue is recognized in full on October 1st of 2021. This is the first year the council has adopted the recognition of the next year's membership revenue when the membership year begins versus when the membership was paid. Other liabilities decreased due to the funds designated for girl recognitions and deferred program events that were delayed due to COVID-19. Notes payable and long-term debt also includes the lines of credit and mortgages on the Fresno Training Center, as well as the Paycheck Protection Program loan. Council did not have to rely on its line of credit by September 30th in either of the two preceding fiscal years. As such, no liability is reflected in notes payable. The mortgage balance was reduced by $111,709, which was due to the donation secured to pay off the Fresno building, as well as regular payments against the Fresno mortgage. The Fresno office and the Bakersfield office currently have no mortgages. The Paycheck Protection Program loan received in 2020 in the amount of $341,000 was forgiven in 2021. The Paycheck Protection Program loan of $379,312 was forgiven in January of 2022. Therefore, it will not need to be paid back. The latter will be removed from the financials ended in September 30th of 2022. This slide shows the revenues the council received during the fiscal year. Individuals, corporations, and foundation contributions reflected under cash contributions increased during the year. This increase was due to the ability to have in-person fundraising activities and solicitations. We also saw an increase in in-kind support compared to the previous year, specifically in in-kind services. Product program revenues decreased significantly during the 2020-21 fiscal year, with a lower number of troops participating in girls selling in both the fall product and cookie programs due to the COVID-19. The council was able to continue the cookie donor buyout program that allowed the community to donate the support to troop cookie sales and donate cookies to other community nonprofits. Other revenues decreased slightly year over year. Program service fees, retail store revenues, interest income, and fundraising events revenues all decreased, while realized and unrealized gains on investments and miscellaneous revenues increased. Overall, the council's revenues decreased by $854,000 year over year. As you can see on this slide, the council's largest source of revenue is product sales. This includes the cookie and fall product. This represents 69.47% of the council's revenues in the fiscal year of 2020 to 2021. The second highest source of revenues for the council was miscellaneous revenues, which included the ERTC and the PPP funds. This accounted for 10.32% of our revenues. The third highest source of revenues for the councils are the in-kind donation, which represented 7.8% of our revenues. And additionally, our cash contributions represented 5.28% of our revenues. The remaining revenues are composed of 2.36 from our retail stores, 0.87 from our program service fees, which include event fees for girls and council service fee, and the 4.62% from investments. This slide shows the expenditures that the council had for the year. The council spent 85.95% of the expenses on programs, 5.2% on expenses on fund development, and 9.3% on support services. The total expenses for this fiscal year were $5,745,036. This was a decrease of $796,074 over the prior year. The decrease in expense was due to the decrease in the cost of goods sold in the retail stores as a result of lower retail sales and the cost of the program products sold, recognitions and proceeds due to the result of the lower product sales than the year before. Additionally, postage, delivery, and communications and technology, professional services, and administration supplies expenses also decreased. This slide shows where the council ended in the fiscal year. The council showed a net income of $1,077,284 at the end of the fiscal year, compared to $1,135,475 at the end of last year. This was a negative change of $58,191. As I'll explain on the next slide, it is important for the council to continue showing a net income at the end of each year, as we need to be building a sustainable level of reserves in order to protect the council from future unplanned events and reduce our dependency on our line of credit, as well as fund deferred maintenance on our council offices and program centers. This slide shows the types of assets that are held at the council for fiscal years ended 2020 and 2021 respectively. Unrestricted funds are the funds that the council is allowed to use without constraint, subject to specific board designations and reserve requirements. As you can see, unrestricted assets increased $880,647. Temporarily restricted funds are funds to be used by a particular program or expense as restricted by donors. These funds increased by $115,853. This was due to the fair market value of the investments increasing from the market. Permanently restricted funds are funds that our council is not able to use due to explicit donor stipulations. This is the result of endowments that have been set up based on a specific donor agreements where the council has benefit of utilizing the investment gains generated from the endowment, but cannot utilize the principal gift. This is designated to ensure that the impact of these funds continues into perpetuity. These funds had no change. As we discussed last year, the frozen GSUSA pension plan for the previous staff and management is underfunded. It was frozen over 10 years ago. GSUSA performs annual valuations of the amounts due from each council each year. This amount may increase or decrease based on the investment performance. It has remained steady the past 2 years, but in the future challenged due to unpredictability. GSUSA understands the burden that this puts on individual councils, and in 2021, GSUSA's national board decided to sell assets and proceeds were applied to the pension liability. The council is very close to having achieved an optimal funding of its reserves. Reserves are important to ensure the council can sustain itself in an event of organizational emergency or disruption in its revenue sources. This has been a major issue for councils across the country. A major disruption occurred in many councils in this past year alone. The optimal GSUSA recommended level of reserves funding is 12 months. At the end of the fiscal year of 2020 to 2021, we had 11.3 months of reserves. During 2020 to 2021, our reserves increased due to the CARES Act income and conservative fiscal spending by management. This is allowing GSCCS to be moving in the right direction, but it is important that we continue to be fiscally conservative to build our reserves to be at or above our target. In addition to use of the reserves for unplanned events and emergencies, they are also important for planning for future expansion in facilities. This is particularly important as we look to sell our Bakersfield property and reinvest in a purchase of a new facility in that area. The financial impact of COVID-19 and the state shutdown impacted nearly all businesses and nonprofits. However, due to the fiscal prudence of the council, GSCCS did not have to decrease personnel through layoffs or pay reductions. Additionally, even though services to girls and troop leaders continued to be delivered in different format or rescheduled, the council did not have to cancel services for financial reasons. Unfortunately, management projects that as a result of COVID-19 and the long state shutdown, membership will decrease for the coming years. We are hopeful that as girls and troops, service units, and volunteers return to activities, that Girl Scouts will remain in their lives. Additionally, management took advantage of the CARES Act funding that were available. Council received a PPP loan in 2020 in the amount of $341,000. In 2021, the council received a second PPP loan in the amount of $379,312. Both PPP loans were forgiven by the federal government and will not need to be paid back. For the calendar year of 2020, the council filed for employee retention tax credits of $177,848. These funds were still waiting to be received from the amended returns filed with the IRS. For calendar year 2021, the council filed employee retention tax credits totaling $345,549. All of these funds have helped preserve services and staffing levels during the pandemic, as the council has seen decreased revenues from other sources, most notably donations and product program receipts. I've given you a lot of financial numbers, graphs, and charts. What I want you to take away from this is that the Girl Scouts of Central California South is building a strong future for girls in the Central California. Staff, management, and board members are building relationships with corporations, individuals, and foundations for future contributions that will invest in the girls in the years to come. Staff, management, and board members are securing the assets the council has by implementing a plan to be debt-free and fund deferred maintenance. Hopefully, as you visit our offices and properties, you will see some of the changes being made. We have invested funds in the Fresno office with new signage, paint, and updating decor. In the coming months, you will see changes to the Taft Girl Scout house with much needed deferred maintenance. Council staff see the Taft Girl Scout house as a place for all GSCCS members to meet and experience workshops in outdoor skills, STEM, life skills, etc. As we look to sell and replace our office in Bakersfield with a more modern facility in a safe area frequented by girls and their families that will allow us to expand services, this endeavor will likely take additional capital beyond proceeds from the sale. Most importantly, troop leaders and the girls of Girl Scouts of Central California South are developing the future leaders through programs that teach entrepreneurship, management, philanthropy, love of nature, kindness, and kindness. These future leaders are the key to a successful Central California economy. I want to conclude with a few thank yous. First and foremost, we thank the troop leaders for volunteering and leading the girls through product sales and Girl Scout programs. Without our amazing troop leaders, Girl Scouts of Central California South could not provide Girl Scouting to the thousands of girls in our council. Thank you to the staff for assisting and supporting the leaders, volunteers, and parents with the product programs, Girl Scout activities and events, and the Girl Experience programs. Thank you to the management and the board of directors for their involving philanthropy efforts in order to engage the community to contribute to our mission. Thank you to all the board and committee members for providing their talents and ensuring the assets of Girl Scouts of Central California South are secure and available for the future of Girl Scouting in the Central Valley. Are there any questions on the financial report?
Okay, well, seeing no questions then, we'll move on. Thank you, Alana, for presenting in Michael's stead. And thank you for your valuable knowledge, wisdom, and dedication to our organization, and the time you spent diligently with our finance committee this past year, and all of the information you shared with us tonight. Before we move to our presentation of slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee for the coming board year, I would like to acknowledge two of our board members who are moving off of the board this year. Andrea Warrock and Dr. Kamal Desai have been great leaders on our board. Kamal will remain involved in Girl Scouts on our scholarship committee. On behalf of all of us at GSCCS, we thank you both for your service. It is now my pleasure to introduce Heather Walker-Jans, our board secretary and chair of the Board Development Committee, to present the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers.
Good evening to you all. It is my honor and privilege to present the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee for the board year 2022 and 2023. This includes both new nominees and incumbents whose terms have expired, as some of the directors are not rotating off the board this year due to staggering appointment dates. I would like each of the new board member nominees to please raise your hand as I read your name. Board Member at Large, Steve Barnes with Barnes Wealth Management. Board Member at Large, Nora Creech, who is a philanthropist. I'd also like to introduce our continuing board members. Our board chair, Dr. Gail Race-Bureau. Our first vice chair, the Honorable Verna Santos. Our second vice chair, Joanne Bazarian. Our treasurer, Michael Osana. Secretary, myself, Heather Walker-Jans. Board member at large, Michael Alexander. Board member at large, Heather Brown. Board member at large, Robert Frausto. Board member at large, Fabiola Ramirez. Board member at large, Kimberly Slavan. Board member at large, Kimberly Tam Scott Munson. It is my pleasure to present to you the complete slate of officers of the board for the 2022 and 2023 board year as included in the presentation and supporting materials. You can see them on this slide. Next, we have the complete slate of at-large board members for the 2022 and 2023 board year as included in the presentation and supporting materials. And you can see them on this slide. And I would like to present the slate of the Board Development Committee nominees for the upcoming year. The chair, myself, Heather Walker-Jans. Member, Brenda Budke. Member, Ashley Full. Member, Fabiola Ramirez. Member, the Honorable Verna Santos. And member, Dr. Gail Race-Bureau. Thank you all for agreeing to be nominated to serve in these critical positions, and thank you to our Board Development Committee for their work throughout the past year to solicit nominations, interview candidates, and put forward the slates. Madam Chair, I move to submit the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committee to the Council delegates for approval in accordance with our Council bylaws.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you to the entire Board Development Committee for its work in putting the slate of nominees together. The slate has now been officially presented according to the Council bylaws, and Board Secretary Heather Walker-Jans has made a motion to approve the slate. May I have a second?
I second the motion.
Very good, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will take a vote on the approval of the slate of nominees for the Board of Directors, Officers, and Board Development Committees as presented and included in the meeting materials. You will see on your screen your Zoom poll. Please cast your vote using the poll. We will wait 30 seconds for the tabulation of votes. Thank you. The results of the vote are on your screen. As you can see, the motion has passed and the slate is adopted. Thank you to those of you who will be serving on our council as officers and members of the board of directors and the board development committee in the coming year. I would now like to take the opportunity to introduce our 2022-23 girl representatives to the board, Destiny S. and Alana W. These two Girl Scouts will be representing our girls during board meetings. I would like to give both Destiny and Alana time to introduce themselves to everyone this evening.
Hello, I'm Destiny, and this will be my second year as a Girl Scout representative to the board. I'm currently in college at UC Davis. I have been a Girl Scout all throughout kindergarten into my last year in high school. The thing I love most about Girl Scouts is the way we show young girls to be the voice for others while empowering their leadership skills. Girl Scouts is a community that builds sisterhood among these young ladies who are the future of our society. I look forward to meeting with the young Girl Scouts over the coming year. My email address for being a girl representative to the board is girlrep2@girlscoutsccs.org. I would love to hear from you, Girl Scouts. Next, I would like to introduce our newest Girl Scout representative to the board, Alana.
Hello, my name is Alana, and this is my first year as a girl representative to the board. I am currently a senior at Central East High School, and I've been a Girl Scout since I was 6, and I'm 17 now. The thing I love most about Girl Scouts is the connections and the friendships you make while here. And I just wanted to put out there that girls from across the council are free to talk to me anytime. As a very busy Girl Scout myself, and as a Girl Scout who even debated leaving Girl Scouts at one point and decided to stay, I'm always willing to talk to girls on the importance of staying in Girl Scouts and the benefits that it reaps. So please reach out to me if there are girls who want to talk to me or have questions about the program at girlrep1@girlscoutsccs.org. And I will now turn it back to Gail.
Thank you, girls. This coming Girl Scout year, Destiny and Alana will be setting up quarterly Zoom calls. This will be a time for them to talk with other GSCCS Girl Scouts and see what's been going on with the girls. We hope you encourage your troop to participate with these Zoom meetings. It's a girl space to talk freely about issues they would like to see changed. This will enable Alana and Destiny to take this feedback back to the board. We look forward to hearing from our Girl Scouts and the information that they bring back from the Zoom meetings. Please feel free to have your Girl Scouts reach out to Destiny or Alana at these emails on the PowerPoint slide. At this time, we would like to also thank Miranda D., who has been our Girl Scout representative from 2020 through 2022. Thank you, Destiny, or Miranda. It's now time for us to consider our next action item, the approval of the slate of nominees for the National Council Session delegates. I'd like to turn the meeting back over to Heather Walker-Jans, Chair of the Board Development Committee, for the presentation.
Thank you, Gail. It is my pleasure to present the slate of nominees for the National Council Session and CS delegates for approval. National Council Session delegates represent our council at the National Convention. The NCS delegates serve for a 3-year term. The board chair and the CEO also serve as NCS delegates under the council bylaws. The next National Council Session is scheduled for Orlando, Florida in July 2023. The council solicited applications for nominees for the NCS delegates for approximately 4 months. The Board Development Committee reviewed applications, interviewed candidates, and formulated a slate of delegates as required under the council bylaws. I am pleased to present the following NCS delegates for approval by the council delegates. Delegate 1, Alana W., Troop 2864. Delegate 2, Elizabeth Basham, Troop 3255. Delegate 3, Carolyn J., Troop 2581. Delegate 4, Nicole B., Troop 3255. Alternate Delegate 1, Roxanne Perez, Troop 7332. Alternate Delegate 2, Marina Gonzalez, Troop 5026. Alternate Delegate 3, Lorelei O, Troop 1046. Alternate Delegate 4, Crystal G, Troop 5026. Ex officio delegate, Dr. Russel Statham, CEO. Ex officio delegate, Dr. Gail Race-Bureau, Board Chair. Madam Chair, I move to submit the slate of nominees for the National Council Session and CS delegates to the Council delegates for approval in accordance with our Council bylaws.
I second.
Thank you, Heather. And thank you to the entire Board Development Committee for the work in putting this slate of nominees together. The slate has now been officially presented. We've had a second to approve the slate. And is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll take a vote on approval for the National Council Session delegates as presented and included in the meeting materials. You will see the Zoom poll on your screen. Please cast your vote, and then we will wait to see the results. Thank you. As you can see from the results on your screen, the motion has passed and the slate is adopted. I'll now turn it back over to Russell to wrap up the meeting.
Thank you, Gail. Before we complete our annual business meeting, I just wanted to remind everyone of the dates of our upcoming Council Delegate Roundtable meetings. So these are really opportunities for us to sort of have important dialogue and hear feedback from delegates on various different council initiatives, programs, operations, and really just to ensure that we're engaging in the democratic process to further our mission. We love seeing active participation in these meetings and really encourage everyone to participate as much as you are able to. We look forward to seeing each of our delegates quarterly to update them on what's happening in the council. And each session will have our council leadership team and staff on, and we'll provide an opportunity to ask questions, get an inside look at what the council has upcoming, and to really shape the future of the operational side of the council. So please mark your dates on the calendar and look for an email with your Zoom link. Our fall roundtable will be October 20th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Our winter roundtable will be January 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Our spring roundtable will be April 13th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And then our annual business meeting for the 2023 year will be July 19th, 2023, and that'll be at 7 p.m. So at this time, we would love to open the meeting up to any open communications or feedback from the delegates on really any topic that's appropriate for the delegate body before we conclude the meeting. So we'd love to open it up if there's any discussion or questions on anything that has been presented or on any topic that would be appropriate for discussion by the council delegates. Okay, seeing none, we thank you so much for spending your Wednesday evening with us. And on behalf of all of our council, our staff, our board, and all of the girls in our movement, we thank you so much for all that you do to join us in the Girl Scout movement and in serving our girls. We hope everyone has had a great evening. We thank you again for all that you do. Have a great rest of the evening and a wonderful week. And we will see you throughout the coming year.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me out there?
We can, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to add, I had Valerie Nord with me in our meeting. We had our Girl Scout troop meeting at the same time, but Valerie Nord was in attendance with me on my screen today.
Well, thank you for letting us know, Hannah. Good to see you.
Good seeing you guys. You guys have a great night.
You.